What's going on, everyone? NoZoupForYou here, and gigantic changes are coming to the Commander skill system. And when I mean gigantic, I mean absolutely huge. I mean, this is going to completely rework what we have right now. So, if you got a ton of ships, you're going to be making a ton of changes, and I'm kind of dreading it. I mean, I've grown comfortable with the 19-point captains we have, but that's going away. Totally going away, and we're going to be increasing maximum skill points from 19 to 21. So, hope you all are doing great. Unlike the other day when I had Benjamin in my lap, I've got my daughter Savannah in my lap right now, and she's just kind of looking up at me like, "Daddy, what the hell are you doing right now? Why don't you shut up? I'm trying to sleep, or I just want to focus on my little baby life right now and not worry about what you're doing." But we'll see if she keeps quiet for the duration of this video. So, World of Warships just released a new dev blog. They plan to update the skills in 0.9.11. They're going to do testing, which is good. They want feedback from us, which is also good, because I'm sure many of us are going to provide feedback. But in summary, they're saying the new skills were added and some of the old ones were changed. Each class will have a separate section with unique skills. So, no longer are you going to see aircraft carrier skills intermixed with skills from other ship classes. That's kind of nice, and it makes sense. Again, skills have gone from 19 to 21. I touched on that earlier. It's a lot of points, man. We're getting up there in the point number. That's a lot to keep track of. There's now a new way to get elite commander experience through dismissing unused commanders. That's probably going to be nice for those of you that have lots of premium ships, that have a lot of just commanders sitting around that are dead. I know I've got tons of them, and I can't wait to get XP for them. And the amount of experience required to retrain a commander to another researchable ship has also been reduced by half. But they're saying because you're going to have to switch around skills and everything a lot less in the future, the cost of actually changing your skills is going to go up from 500 doubloons to 750 doubloons. So that's a lot more right there. I mean, 750 doubloons is not cheap to redistribute your captain skills. It's just not cheap at all. I mean, even 500 is not cheap, which I think that's why most of us don't do it and tend to just go with what we've got or shuffle them around or do what we absolutely have to do. So, something important to know. I'm going to touch on some other things that came out in the dev blog because there's a lot to digest there. There's a lot of stuff to read. I'm sure most of you probably aren't going to take the time to read it, don't want to read it, so I will touch at the highlights, then go into some of the new skills you can expect for each of the ship classes, and you can determine whether or not you like where this is going, or you can say, hey, I don't like change. Change is scary. Change is bad. Not digging it. So, let's get down to the nitty-gritty. Here are some details about the changes, and this is kind of verbatim from World of Warships dev blog. Commanders will still have a specialization for a particular ship. Only one skill set corresponding to a class of ship is active at one time. Skills for each class are distributed independently from each other. For example, a commander with 10 skill points can distribute 10 points in the section of destroyers and 10 points for battleships. The basic skills of distribution will not change. Each section will have 4 rows of skills. So you still got tier 1, 2, 3, and 4. And am I boring you with this, Savannah? I'm sorry. Are you not interested in these changes to commander skills? Well, you need to learn about this because I'm going to force you to start playing when you're old enough to move those little hands of yours. The cost and number of skills for recruited commanders will change so that, if necessary, the player will be able to recruit a commander with a large number of skill points. Commander without skills is hired for free. Well, that's kind of a nice change, right? Commander with 6 skill points is available for 900,000 credits. That's nice also, so you don't get those 3 skill points. You actually have enough to do something meaningful. And a commander with 10 skill points is available for 1,750 doubloons. I know, right? That's a lot of doubloons right there for a 10-point captain. Don't know how big of a hit that will be. I think the people that are going to take advantage of this are already going to have the captains in place, so there you go. Further says to redistribute the skills as before, elite commander experience or doubloons will be required. Each skill section is redistributed separately. That's kind of an interesting catch right there, and it sounds like it can get a little pricey. So we got to keep an eye on that and see how that actually works when the testing comes along. Cost of redistribution for a section with a commander with 21 skill points, touched on that already, will be 525 doubloons or 500,000 elite commander experience. For 19 skill points, the cost remains unchanged. A commander with no specialization for a specific ship cannot be assigned to it without retraining. This rule is not applied to premium or special ships, so kind of like it was before. You can go into battle on a ship without a commander. In this case, commander experience will not be credited to the account. So, you know, just like a naked ship, you can still play with no camouflage. I guess you can play with no captain here, or commander. I don't know who would want to do that. I mean, it sounds like you're kind of putting yourself at a huge disadvantage. So, the option is there for some reason if you want to challenge yourself, I guess. The amount of experience required to retrain a commander to another researchable ship will be reduced by half. Skills will not work until the commander completes retraining. That's kind of the same as it is right now. And then once again, what I covered earlier, the cost of commander retraining changes. Since redistribution of commander skills will be required much less often, the cost of retraining into doubloons will increase from 500 to 750 doubloons. That is a lot. Now, that is the nitty-gritty right there. Those are the basics of the changes. What's going to happen? The pros and the cons, I kind of touched on a little bit. Again, I want to wait till I actually play this testing, these new skills, to kind of get a better idea of how it's going to affect us. I mean, ultimately, it's probably going to be for the better, but you need to know about these skills right now because these skill changes are absolutely ginormous. I mean, there's some strange stuff in there that's going to really alter the way the game's played, in my opinion. So, as I said, there's different skills now for each class, or as the dev blog said, as it were. On aircraft for skill 1, you've got such things as Cap Specialist, which when the fighter consumable is activated, an additional aircraft is launched, +1. We've got something like that, just a change of the name. Patrol Expert, though, increases the action radius of patrol fighters, so that kind of creates a larger bloom by 10%. There's a couple things in here that are just basic name changes since it's going to be for a specific class. You've got Engine Technician, which is just dealing with engine cooling, Engine Mechanic, which increases the boost, and Aircraft Mechanic, which accelerates aircraft servicing. So not much is changing there. It's not until you get the higher tiers where you start seeing stuff. Like, for instance, Tier 3 on aircraft carriers, you have Piercing Armament. That increases the damage of armor-piercing aircraft armament by 5%. Who really wants to see stronger armor-piercing rockets and bombs? I mean, I don't know how popular that's going to be, but players are going to have to use it. Same thing for Pyrotechnist, though we already have something like this with HE. It increases the chances of fires by 2% and 5%. Enduring is still in there, just a different name change. That increases the HP of aircraft. Flight Director increases the number of squadron consumables. Stealthy at Tier 4 reduces the aircraft carrier's detectability range. They've just changed the name on that. I mean, nothing really different there, and my little girl's getting fussy, so I might have to actually drop her off before I continue talking about this stuff. Savannah, what are you doing, girl? What are you doing? Is this boring you? I don't know. I don't know. She's getting a little bored. Getting a little bored. Battleship, we've got changes as well. Again, some of the changes are in name only, but there are some different skills in there. We've got such things at Tier 2 as Threshing, which improves the armor penetration capabilities of HE shells fired from both main and secondary battery guns. That's going to be nice for those of you out there that are secondary specialists. You got such things as Gunner, which is just a rename of your main battery traverse speed. So some things, again, changing, not changing. Level 3, you've got Armor Piercing, which increases main caliber AP damage by 5%. So that's kind of a big thing right there. Secondary Armament Ballistician, that's different. Increases the firing range of secondary guns by 20%. So it's got its own category there right now. Steady is in there at level 3. Increases torpedo protection by 10%. So if you're worried about eating torpedoes, you've got a means to protect yourself from that. Level 4, you've got straight A artillerist. That increases the reload speed of secondary armament. I know, that's exciting, isn't it, Savannah? You like the sound of that, don't you? You've got concealment expert at tier 4 still. And you've also got fire prevention expert, which decreases the risk of catching fire by 10%. So some changes there are big, some are small, and this is going to be the continuing theme amongst the classes. So I'll just pick a couple more things that I think are considerable changes. For your cruisers, you've got Demo Man at level 3, which increases maximum damage on HE shells by 10%, SAP shells by 10%, but it increases the ship's detectability by 15%. So there is a trade-off to some skills now, and that's interesting. We have not had that before. Adrenaline Rush is now a tier 3 skill for cruisers. And again, that increases the reload speed of all armaments and AA damage for each 1% of HP lost at a rate of 0.2%. So we've got some stuff moving around right there. Still got straight A artillerist. Brawler's a new one, which increases the ship's parameters if they're more visible to enemy ships than ally ships within your ship's base main caliber firing range. That increases your ship's speed by 8% and the maximum dispersion of main battery shells by negative 10%. That's a huge skill right there, and I think a lot of players are going to like that. Threshing's back for cruisers. Armor penetration capacity of HE shells plus 25%. I know. My daughter's saying that's crazy. That's insane, isn't it? Isn't it, Savannah? I mean, people are either going to love that or they're going to hate it. They're going to use it or they're not. And that almost sounds like IFHE in a way, but it's not. Of course, the chances of fire being caused by HE shells without modifiers being applied is reduced by half. So I think threshing is really what IFHE used to be. Yeah, that's what Savannah's got to say about that. She thinks that's absolutely crazy. Moving on to destroyers, we'll check out a couple last things right there. I think she's not going to be making any more guest appearances on these videos. You are very talkative right now. Of course, we've got a lot to talk about with these. So, AA Gunner increases the number of shell explosions. That's a tier 1 skill for destroyers. Don't know how much it's going to help. You've still got things like propulsion. Torpedo Armament Specialist at level 2 increases the ship's torpedo speeds by 5%. They've got Adrenaline Rush. That's going to change things as well. Threshing is available again. I think Threshing is really, like I said, IFHE. Providence, a new one, increases the number of the ship's consumables. You can add an extra consumable, +1. That's an interesting skill right there. Enduring increases the ship's HP at level 3. And then level 4, you've got things like Nimble, which reduces the accuracy of enemy fire on your ship for 15 seconds after being detected. That's an interesting one right there. Concealment Expert, of course, is still there. Fearless reduces the reload time of main battery guns when your ship is spotted. Ship's concealment is increased, though. Negative 10% for the battery guns, plus 5% for concealment. So these are interesting changes right there. These are really going to actually be able to be molded to your particular playstyle. So it seems like there's a lot more skills available depending on what your playstyle is and what you think you might want to use. So it's going to be interesting to see how these play out. I think this is going to make your ships a lot more versatile. I know, baby girl. I know. She's excited about it too. She's excited about how versatile you're going to be able to make your ships with your commanders. So, exciting times right now. Concerning times. This is going to be pretty crazy. I'm excited though. Hope you're excited. Let me know what you think about these new commander skills. My daughter's already let you know. She's starting to cry right now. She's not very happy. So this is the last time she's going to be on video with me. Sorry, Savannah. You had one chance and you just failed. Anyhow, I hope you all are doing wonderful. Take it easy. Zoop out. And Savannah out.